Hey, welcome to Backyard Bows. I'm Brandon, and this is the Basic Bowman episode 4. After watching those first ones, you probably have a bow, you got your arrows, you got your release, you got everything you need to start slinging some arrows. You just need something to shoot at. So what we'll do is we'll walk you through some of the targets, the variety of targets that we have here at the backyard. Now, there are also a variety of targets out there that I stand by and that I've used in the past and that I like. So when we get done with the video, leave it in the comments what we suggest. Give me a description of kind of the area that you have set up, and we'll recommend something for you because there's tons of different targets that we've used. These are just the ones that we have in-house today. So if you want to make an investment, which I always recommend people do, especially if you find yourself loving this sport, if you go buy just the regular old inexpensive bag and you leave it out in the elements, what you're most likely going to do is buy another one probably fairly soon because it'll just disintegrate. If you want to make a good investment, there's two different block targets that I recommend. One is this Reinhardt target right here. Amazing. We did a review on it. Watch the review. It has a vitals side. It has tons of different dotted sides. It also has the core to take those broadheads on that you can change out if you wear it out. This thing is an investment, but it'll last you a lifetime. It also can take on the weather. So that's something else that we'll talk about today. And then the other one, I have this little hexagon Reinhardt ball here. This thing, again, it's nice to throw in the back of the truck. Both of them are very durable. Targets I recommend. We have a lot of Reinhardt stuff here. I'm a huge fan of Reinhardt. But both of these targets are just great little investments, okay? Especially if you're buying your first target. Another one that you guys have seen me use, we do it on most of the reviews for the single shot assessment. I got this Iron Man, okay? So I got a big Iron Man big shot. Again, has a vital side. The opposite has a dot side. Love this target. This target has taken thousands of arrows. It's starting to wear a little bit, but the arrows aren't penetrating all the way through it yet. We still use it in-house. This one has not seen the weather and has not been outside, so that's probably a factor into that one. And then another recent one is the Big Shot Vegas target. It's like 4x4. I love that. Then on top of it, we have one of those bulldog kind of double block targets. So the whole thing, I call it the target tower. But that one's because I'm shooting in a direction where I don't want to miss. So I kind of have everything set up over there where it's almost impossible to miss. I've actually shot an arrow through that garage door before. So that only happened once. Sure enough, I made sure that that wasn't going to happen again. Both of those targets are great. I test a lot of bows inside. We test a lot of releases. This little 10-yard range right here, I shoot at more than you would think. So that's another thing. If your only option, once you get your bow and target at your house, is to shoot in your basement, which I just set somebody up who came in and got a whitetail max from me the other day. I recommended this Iron Man big shot target for him, and he just put it in his basement, and it's 12 yards, and that's where he's getting his first reps at. And I told him that's better than nothing. Okay, you just want to get to shooting, and we'll talk about towards the end of this video consistency and how I think that that's the most important thing in your new archery venture. But we shoot a lot in here at those. You guys see me shoot at this a ton. These are the ones that I take in the truck, carry with me. Yeah, I absolutely love all 5 of these targets. So let's take a step outside, and we're going to show you our personal range, how we set everything up, and why we think setting yourself up for success, and how including your hobbies and the things that you're interested in into your daily scheme is the best way to be consistent and ultimately the best way to have the most success. So let's go ahead and step outside. Before we step outside, I want to mention that this has been accumulated over 10 years. I didn't just buy all this at once, and our setup isn't what it is just, overnight. Okay, so if you have a vision, start putting it together piece by piece, start putting together what you want. So soon as you step out the garage, we have our little eating area here that we always have our family dinners at when it's nice outside. And then immediately when you go to the left, you have a little deck. You got my ice barrel, which I've been loving lately, those cold plunges. And then you have a little bitty step up, a little block here that we built on top of the deck so that you get clearance over this railing, and we get these first shots. So this is the first shooting area of the yard. Okay, and if you look right through this tree line, which I needed to trim up a little bit before this video, you got the boar and you got 2 bucks, okay? And then just in general, as you'll see through the yard, we have everything just set up, the landscape, the shooting, everything kind of exist and is synced together, and it just makes an awesome shooting experience. Again, something that makes it fun and that you find yourself shooting at on the daily. So you got the wisteria wrapping around the porch here, which takes forever to trim. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but this is the area that I seem to shoot from often, okay? And the reason I have the targets that I do down there, the boar, every time we've gone hog hunting, that's about the 20 to 25 yards is what you're going to shoot at. And then you got these bucks. One quartering to me, one quartering away from me. These bucks are placed strategically down there because those are the shots that I find myself taking the most in the field, strategically from me setting up my stands off of trails or off of fields. But those are the shots that I take the most. I love this up here. It assimilates that downward shot. I'm an aerial hunter, constantly in a tree, very rarely in a blind on the ground, but I love that. So that's shooting area number one. Now, if you go across the porch, you got a nice little pond, water feature. Sometimes I just shoot. You got the water feature in the background, no music. I could sit out here and shoot all day. And then on the very front of this, you have another door. This used to be our gym, and now it's my home office. So you come in here, this is where I work constantly all day long. I have a bad back, can't sit down for long periods of time. I do some emails, I get up and shoot. So again, my entire setup here is to accommodate my interest and my goals. So these are the personal investments that we make in ourselves for our joy, for our happiness. But I try to set everything up so that I can achieve the goals that I've set out for myself. And bow hunting is like my number one hobby. This is kind of the thing that brings me the most joy come fall and all year round, getting to practice, especially in an area, in a place like this. So you got the office, second shooting area. You come down through here, you go past, we got a little fire pit, go to the cross of the yard, and we have the gazebo. Okay, this wasn't here originally. This was like a hot tub pad when I was younger, and then I took that off, and when I bought the home for my mom, set up the little gazebo so we can shoot rain or shine. I got my Traeger right here for all of our grill and shoots. This is my space. Okay, so this is the space that I'm at the most. This is where we do all of the freestyle parts of the reviews at. This is where I find myself shooting constantly. We got a turkey, Reinhardt turkey, Delta McKenzie coyote, Reinhardt broadhead buck. Then we got all the real life size Reinhardt targets, the gray wolf, the black bear, baby black bear, kicking buck, and the bighorn up at the top of the hill, going from 20 starting with the turkey all the way up to 50 at the bighorn. When I finally realized I wanted to shoot more in my backyard at different depths, this was the only spot because I'm shooting into a hillside or shooting down into the ground. So again, that's very important for those beginners. When you set yourself up, if you're shooting yourself in a residential area or somewhere where there's other people around, you want to make sure that you're shooting into the ground, into a hillside, somewhere safe. And I know this seems elementary or redundant, but man, these compound bows are extremely dangerous. And the last thing you want is for a horrible accident to happen. So be mindful of how you set yourself up, okay? Like I mentioned inside, we had somebody set themselves up in the basement just to get their shots because they didn't have anywhere outside to set up a bag at the moment in that particular neighborhood. But here I have the hunter's dream, okay? I can sit over here and shoot all day long whenever I want. I don't have to go anywhere. I can get whatever reps in. And this is kind of my space. This is the space that we've set up. You got beautiful landscape, you got the chickens up on the hill, you got the bees over there, you got you got the dogs that'll sit out here with me, and I'll just get my reps in. This is kind of my place of peace. This is where I diffuse the stress of life, and that's kind of what a lot of us probably use archery for, is just to bring us some peace. So this is my space. You got the let's talk about some of these targets. This thing's held up pretty good. It's not as old as some of the other ones, but again, you can see that I leave all of these out in the elements, sun, snow, weather, whatever it is. They're taking it all, and they've all held up pretty good. The turkey's starting to disintegrate a little bit. On all of them, you'll see that the chipmunks and the squirrels kind of beat them up more than the arrows do. And then I have certain ones that I designate for broadhead. So the Delta McKenzie coyote, that one's held up pretty good as well. They're very expensive, so I usually stay away from those. I'm more of a Reinhardt guy because they're kind of a little bit better price and you get some great quality as well. But that feeding broadhead buck, man, that thing is disintegrated. I've shot so many broadheads at that. I need a new insert, and then the bottom, which is a really, really thin piece. I'm always shooting for that low heart, kind of real life scenario, kind of assimilate what I'm doing in the field, and I just, I've kind of taken the whole bottom part off that thing. So that one's almost gone, but you can tell the big, large gray wolf, I've shot thousands of shots at this thing, only field points, but it's held up really nicely. And then the other broadhead, 40 yards, big mama bear. I'm probably gonna get an insert soon for that thing, but you can tell, just some wonderful targets, great investments. And again, I bought these over the course of 8 years, kind of bought one here, bought one there, found one on sale here, and I've accumulated this little setup. So don't get discouraged if you can't get everything at once. And there's one target I would suggest that you buy from the beginning, 3D target, woodland boar from Reinhardt. This thing's been sitting out here for 10 years in that exact same spot. The chipmunks have beat up its back, but the core is still completely intact. Never shot broadheads at it, but man, I've put in thousands and thousands of arrows into this thing. and it's perfectly intact, not falling apart at all. Love that target. Great first investment, very well priced, I think 180 bucks. Same with the kicking buck from Reinhardt. I love life-size stuff. And then you got that big horn. That's like my favorite, best investment I've ever made. Probably the most expensive target I will ever purchase unless they start giving me them. But that big horn target up at the top is fucking beautiful. Okay, and then up there you got the chickens. Again, you know, the space that you create for yourself, I think, is vital. You know, setting aside that time for the things that bring you joy is vital. Creating a space that has the energy that you want to put yourself in is vital. You know, archery is a lifelong hobby. This isn't something that people just jump into. It consumes them for all of the right reasons. I can't find one negative thing besides the fact that it'll break your bank about archery or bow hunting. Everything else is just positive. And that's why I think when people pick up a bow, they don't put them down. You get really comfortable. There's all kinds of different games you can play with yourself. There's not something, you don't always have to have somebody with you. I make up stuff all the time to make my shooting experience more interested. After you do something for 1,000 days in a row, it can naturally get boring. So come up with different games for yourself. I do a lot of spot shooting, guessing of distances, making up games, kind of quick release games, all kinds of stuff, kind of assimilating hunting scenarios. I try to keep myself on my toes so that all of my daily reps benefit me and I'm still making that same progress. I would start close to the bag, start at 10 yards. Okay, work yourself away from that bag. If you're still trying to dial that top pin in at 20, the best advice, and there's other videos out there, but if your arrow hits low, you want to move your sight housing low. So you just want to follow your arrow and keep taking steps backwards, keep working yourself backwards, 10 yards, 15 yards, 20 yards, until you can get on a target. And then you can really dial it in. If you're shooting to the left, move your sight housing to the left. Shooting to the right, move your sight housing to the right. Okay, you want to follow that arrow. Once you get that 20-yard pin in, don't be scared to get it, just shoot at 10 yards, 15 yards. You'll work yourself backwards over time. Okay, and you'll get back to the depths that you want, and eventually you'll be shooting at 50 yards. But you want to develop muscle memory, you want to develop good form, and something else I'll tell you about form. Episode 5 will be about form. We'll give you little tips and we'll kind of coach you through some of this for the beginners. But your form will change. Okay, so the best thing to do now is just get reps. In 10 years, you'll probably most likely be shooting differently than you did when you first pick up a bow, and in 20 years, you'll be shooting differently than you did in 10. Okay, you pick up from things from people who know more than you. You keep an open mind, which as you should with everything, and you learn as you go and you pick up tips and you use stuff that works for you and you leave stuff that doesn't behind. Okay, not every single one of us is the same. Our biomechanical makeup is not the same. We all shoot differently. We all have different injuries. Everything about us as an individual will vary, the way that we shoot, the form that we shoot, and that's okay. So at the beginning, pick up your bow, get your daily reps in. I'll tell you this, I was a coach for 10 years of men's lacrosse, and the one thing that I preach the most is consistency. If you shoot 1,000 arrows once a month, or you just shoot 3 arrows a day, you'll make more progress shooting 3 arrows every day. Okay, you want to be consistent, set yourself a goal. Okay, if I could give you one thing from this video, it's set yourself a non-negotiable goal. Mine is 6 arrows a day right now. No matter what, when life gets the busiest, when life gets you down, when you don't want to, you still shoot your 6 arrows. It's not negotiable. This is the investment that you're making into yourself, into the animals that you're hunting, and into your joy, happiness, okay? If this is what you want to do, you got to practice. Like I just mentioned, the animals deserve it, and you'll be better off from it. So before you enter the field, you want to get as many reps as you can. You want to be shooting these reps on the daily. And make sure that you're consistent. And I think the best way to do that is kind of what this video is about, is setting yourself up to make sure that you get those reps in conveniently every single day. Set yourself up for success, set your life up for success in whatever you're doing. Another suggestion for anybody beginning is when you're practicing and you start to hunt, put yourself in scenarios that you find yourself in the woods. Different shooting positions, uncomfortable. A lot of people comment on my stance and how my feet are so close together. Well, that's like 90% of my shots taken in the woods are on a small platform high up in a tree. So there's lots of things I do in my everyday daily shooting that resembles hunting scenarios that I'm constantly practicing. So you want to practice how you play, and the more you hunt, the more you realize Sometimes you'll shoot over your shoulder. Sometimes you'll shoot with one knee on the ladder stand and one knee, and one leg down. And I mean, there's all kinds of different scenarios that you'll find yourself in. So practice that. I think that's really good to start incorporating into your daily shooting sooner than later. So no matter what, make sure you get those daily reps in. If there's questions that you have about any of the targets that we use or any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. We'll answer. We'll try to get back to everybody. And if you know somebody who's interested in bow hunting, archery, point them to these basic Bowman videos. We think that they're very, very beneficial. We hope you guys like them. We'll see you next time.